All right, we are back for another edition of Picks Against the Spread, and this is staying fun because we still get to pick the spread against the Kansas City Chiefs games, and that means they are still playing. So, my first question for you, Billy, from 1558 is where did you watch the game and how did you feel during that 2 minute period of time of game time that ended that game?
Well, I watch everything at the house. I got to be alone during Chiefs games, and you know, I felt pretty confident until until Buffalo scored and left 13 seconds. At that point, I thought, what do you expect? It's 13 seconds. There's nothing you can do here to win this game. And then 15 just did it again. I'm still working on getting there. I haven't been a Patriots fan my whole life. So I just don't think that these sort of things happen. And he's still just proving me wrong every year he does it.
The thing that's crazy because I know Patriots fans that are a little bit older than me, and they describe their journey watching football pretty similar to what you just said right there. And it just happened before now. It happened 15 years ago. So I think we're in the middle of a really interesting just realignment on thought when it comes to watching these games. And when I was writing my column for Arrowhead One today, I specifically got into just that and how halftime in 2016 or 2017, when we would go in with a tie game because we let the opposition score within the last 2 minutes, the situation would have been hectic. We would have all been stomach in knots, and in this situation, we all got up and went to the bathroom. It's just like, I guess I'm gonna go hit the bathroom and order another beer, and the waitress is in here, and just kind of move on with our day, and we get the ball back first. It just that dynamic alone has changed. And I'll tell you, I was in a decently crowded room with the rest of the fans here in Milwaukee, because I normally go out and watch these games, and I know that there's two frames of thought. You either want to be with the world and all your friends, or you want to be around nobody, and it sounds like you're the second one of those. Um, yeah, but so when that touchdown was scored with 13 seconds, the air got sucked out of the room. Everybody had this kind of shocked look on their face, and I could see some of the wheels kind of start turning. And I made the comment, I'm just like, okay, so we have 13 seconds, get a touchback. I mean, they can move the ball 50 yards in 10 seconds, right? And kick a field goal. I'm like, we're kicking a field goal. We're kicking a field goal. We're tying this. We're going in overtime. And I would tell you that I bare minimum believe that 50% when I was saying that. And
Yeah.
a lot of this is just it's exactly what you're saying. We're seeing so many, and we are, growing up in a sense, or evolving in a sense into the team that expects to win. And
Yeah. It's crazy.
the greatness of Brady and everything like that, I think, comes down to a math problem more than anybody really wants to say. You can say the Cheatriots, you can say the refs give him this, the refs give him that. I mean, when I look at the entire Patriots dynasty, what Brady and Belichick were able to do is they put themselves in a position to win meaningfully more often than anybody else ever did. And football is a weird game. It's an oblong ball that bounces weird, and things just happen. And if you're there often enough, you're going to sit there and get things right, and you're going to collect trophies. And so just think about some of the think of a baseball schedule. The conventional wisdom is you look at a 162 game season, expect to win a third, expect to lose a third. There's absolutely nothing you can do without bottoming out all of Baltimore Orioles for the past handful of years. You're going to win a third of your games. You're going to lose a third of your games. So it's what you do with that final third that determines what your season looks like. If you're the LA Dodgers, you won them all. and then you're trying to
Yeah.
chip into that third that you shouldn't be able to touch, because you have every player in baseball. If you're
Mhm.
the Orioles, you're so just desolate of talent by design that you're going to accidentally lose some of that third you're supposed to win. And, the Belichick and Brady, just by being clutch on Brady's standpoint and smart on Belichick's standpoint, were able to break into some of that third that they weren't necessarily entitled to.
Yep.
But when you go to 10 AFC championship games and you win at a 50% hit rate, you're going to 5 Super Bowls. If you win at a 50% hit rate, you're winning 2.5.
Yeah.
So if you can figure out how to turn that 5 into 6 or 7, go into the Super Bowl, that 50% is a bigger number. And if you can turn that 3 or 4 into 5 or 6, then there you go. And I think we're seeing an evolution of winners in our fandom.
Yeah, it's incredible. I can't get over it. The calmness of that team. I know everyone's seeing the videos go around. 13 seconds. Travis Kelce is in control
Exactly.
of what's going on. He knows what needs to get done. He's telling Tyreek. I mean, there's 2 plays to take place. We hit Tyreek, we hit Travis, and Travis tells Tyreek the route to run and says, if they do this, I'm going to block. Let's roll. And then the second play, he tells Pat, if they do this, hit me. And that's just, I know we weren't, we didn't have the privilege to get to see Tony Gonzalez in these types of situations.
Yep.
But that's not Kelsey's fault. We're seeing him operate at the highest level in the biggest spots. And we never got to see Tony do that. And that's why, Tony Gonzalez is, in my opinion, I mean, it's not him anymore. It's Travis.
No, I agree. I mean, one of my favorite things that I've ever read, Bill Simmons is a writer that I've always just completely admired. I loved when he wrote for ESPN. I read his book of basketball, which is like 750 pages of just sarcastically telling history, and just his entire writing style. I don't know how to describe it unless you're a fan of the stuff. You just, there's no way to describe it. He's not really writing as much as he used to, but this entire thing is his love story with the NBA. He's a Celtics fan, a Boston guy, but he's telling his version of the history of the NBA, growing up with it. And when he talks about Michael Jordan, his whole thing is like, nobody's ever going to convince me Michael Jordan's not the best player. And his argument was, there's always going to be the toughest player in the league. There's always going to be the smartest player in the league. There's always going to be the most athletic player in the league. There's always going to be the most competitive player in the league. And he lists all these characteristics out. And he's like, in that situation, we had one guy that had all of them. And I think that Patrick Mahomes is putting himself in a position where he's, one of the most athletic, one of the most gifted, runners out of the pocket, one of the most gifted improvisers, smartest player, just best recognition of how things are, best coach. And he's got all these things that are coming together in one package. I mean, think about if Aaron Rodgers had any level of just humility and community with his team, and he wasn't trying to do stuff like force feed the ball to Devontae Adams and just throw a towel.
Or if he was
Lazard.
just slightly mobile anymore.
I don't even think that had anything to do with mobility. It's just open your eyes and get out of your head,
Yeah, but I just think Patrick or Josh Allen get more first downs in that game against San Francisco just using their legs.
Patrick and Josh Allen put 30 points on that Niners defense that day.
Yeah, but I mean, even if they had the exact same issues Aaron was having,
sure,
they would have been able to manufacture some yards other ways to get 3 more points on the damn board. I can't believe it's probably ended like that for Aaron in Green Bay.
Exactly. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. And, other tools that you're talking about, I mean, you have Travis Kelce sitting there calling the game. It's like you listen to him talk about it, it's like listening to Tony Romo commentate. And it's just Patrick Mahomes has that. He's got a guy who's athletic enough, cerebral enough, just all of this, and they're all just totally in sync to where they can communicate that way. I mean, this is just such a rare thing, and I'm so glad we get to watch it and that they're taking advantage of what they actually have.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the picks for this week.
Let's do it.
All
Two
right.
games, two winners.
Yeah, we got 2 games, 2 winners, and first one is this Sunday at 2 p.m. Central. We have our Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Cincinnati Bengals of all teams for the AFC.
Can't believe that's
game.
happening.
I can't.
It seems like a dream come true.
Yeah, I can't either. I can't either. I mean, it's wild. I was dead set that we were going to Tennessee. I was dead set that we were going to Tennessee. I had flights and hotel rooms in Tennessee.
I told you. I said, hey, I think Cincinnati can get with them.
Yeah, and they did.
And Derrick Henry clearly just was not ready.
No, he was not ready.
Foreman looked way better. But that's a bullet that Kansas City dodged or Buffalo would have dodged. I think with another game under his belt, he may have been playing a little differently this week. But either way, their defense, other than, what Harold Landry or whatever, other than that, didn't scare me too much. I'm picking Kansas City in this one. I'm usually not this confident going against a team that just beat us 15 minutes ago, but that game just worked out a certain way that didn't necessarily leave us feeling defeated. It just kind of fell apart there with a few minutes left. I think we just have to have our game plan ready and be waiting for that scenario to sort of unfold. If this does get into a shootout, we got to be aware that they do have the balls to and the talent to get inside the 5-yard line and stop moving.
Yeah.
So not a lot of teams have that patience.
Yep, absolutely. And that's the thing. I mean, we can say everything we want to about Derrick Henry not being ready and everything. In a lot of ways, that game came down to Joe Burrow is greater than Ryan Tannehill. He got sacked 9 times. The team picked themselves up, and McPherson's emerging as a potential next great kicker in the league. I mean, that guy was just crazy. You want to talk about crazy. So when they got into field goal range, supposedly he stood on the sideline before he went out there to kick a 50 whatever yard field goal and just said, "Oh, guess we're going to the AFC Championship game now." And he went out and just booted it. It's like that's crazy.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. But yeah, I'm with Kansas City as well. We're favored by 7. I think we cover. We talked about this before. That week 15 or not 15, it was 17. That week 17 loss was unfortunate. The ammo's live this time, and there's no such thing as playing with live ammo more than what this last game that we just played was. And I think that Burrow is a stud. He's not going to be picking up 4th and 4 runs when Kansas City's coverage holds him up at the end. Burrow's a stud, but the Chiefs defense is good enough to not put them in a position to do the whole 4th and 13 thing and throw it into the end zone. And Jamar Chase is not catching another 3 or 4 touchdown passes. It's just
better hope to God he doesn't, because they could not miss. They couldn't miss against us.
They got a plan. They got a plan. I trust in the Chiefs coaching staff to comb through that tape and make sure whatever that was doesn't happen again. So roll with the Chiefs. And let's see if there's going to be a chance for one of us to build or come back on a lead. We have the Niners going to the Rams, and the Rams are favored by 3.5, which is half a point. The Niners have been their conundrum, including week 18, for the Niners to get into the playoffs in the first place. I'm going to go first. I'm going with the Rams. I think that they battle tested themselves this last weekend. The getting the big lead on Tom Brady, the almost losing the big lead on Tom Brady, to closing the deal. It just seemed like there's stuff clicking, and anybody questioning Matt Stafford's ability to go out and win a game, I think needs to rethink what their position is, similar to anybody talking about, Josh Allen being a bit of a roller coaster or anything like that. It's just, we've seen some warrior performances from those guys. So I expect to, for the second year in a row, see an NFC team play at home in the Super Bowl, which is insane. I mean, we'd never had a home team host a Super Bowl before, and I think we're going to get it 2 years in a row.
Irritating. It's irritating, to say the least.
The irritating thing is
you.
we're never hosting one.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I'd put one in Kansas City either, unless they have a dome. The hotel situation, I don't think is good enough to host a Super Bowl. If I'm being completely honest, I don't know that there's a compelling enough list of things to do in the middle of February to drag everybody to Kansas City. Love the area, but the fanfare just
never happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I'm going Rams. I mean, something tells me to pick San Francisco. They are hot. But damn, I don't know. I can't do it. I couldn't pick them against Aaron, and I can't pick them against Stafford and Cooper Kupp. Because it would be a treat to see Patrick and Tyreek versus Stafford and Kupp.
Yeah.
Insane. I don't know. If I could have it my way, I would have the 49ers win. But
sure.
We're going Stafford, and I feel the Rams will cover. But that's that 3.5. Yeah, they'll cover that.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, there you go.
And one last thing to any Chiefs fan listening to this that's going Sunday. Please be aware that Joe Burrow said none of these stadiums in the NFL are as loud as the games in the SEC. He's never been here.
Okay. Sweet. Cannot wait to be in the stands and prove that wrong. Cannot wait. All right, everybody. Take care.
Go Chiefs.